Hi there, and welcome to the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast. It's been a little while, we've been away, but we're back and we've got a new episode. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Men of the West company, we'll be talking about the Dunland company, and we'll be discussing a few other little bits and pieces surrounding the game itself. But it's not just me, it's Stephen from One Eye Hobby. How are you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm doing okay. Been very busy. Got lots of sick children. So yeah, life has been busy lately. So glad to get back
Yeah,
into it. Is what it is. I haven't rolled a dice in anger in over a month.
that is unacceptable, and you're dying by the sounds of it as well. So I think the
I am.
cure might be
I think
dice rolling.
I think it is, and we got a plans. We got plans to start some new battle
We
companies and
have.
stuff.
We can.
So this Friday.
Yes. Let's hope that nothing happens like lightning setting fire to Jedi archives or anything like that. Because for a number of reasons that would be bad. Okay, so we haven't actually had a game since we last recorded an episode, which was a month ago, which is very sad. But I've played a couple of games, I think, but I haven't played any battle companies. I've only been playing um, full points games. Have you played a full points game? Have you any?
I have I have not played a full points game in any type of wargaming game ever because I've never built a full
Oh.
army. So that's why Battle Compass is brilliant and really easy. But yeah, I haven't played a full points game, so this will be interesting to
Yes,
hear.
well, I played against Ben. We had the very random amount of 475 points, but that's just kind of what worked. And he was Durin's folk, and I was Moria, so it was really nice and themey. And I had a chance to actually use my Cave Drake proxy that I've. He was MVP. I mean, it was a real learning experience. I've played probably 100 times more um, battle companies games than I have points games, literally. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was the first time I've had a chance to use a real big, proper monster thing, and I very
Yeah,
nearly
yeah.
got him killed straight away. So it is, yeah, I very nearly messed up, and if it wasn't for a heroic move coming off, he could quite possibly have been dead. But I ended up winning.
What first
Not
turn?
not first turn, but um, no, I put him out way too much on his own, and he didn't get surrounded, but he had like 10 dice rolls against him. Um, yeah,
Ooh,
equal fight value. Um, yeah, so it very nearly didn't end well, but then he ended up getting 10 kills across the game. So he dined well
fair enough.
on some dwarf that eve, and I won 8 points to 4. So that was it was good fun. It was
Nice.
in some ways it was slower than Battle Companies, in some ways it was quicker. So I
Okay.
think that the when you've got like just uh, a line of goblins or a line of dwarves, then you know that they're just a dwarf or they're just a goblin. There's nothing. There's no chance that they've got
Mm.
a fate. There's no chance they've got a special rule. There's no chance they've got. Are they a hero in the making? It was just like, okay, that fight, goblin against dwarf, roll that fight, all right, and then roll to wound. And so you knew all of this. I mean, as long as you know your warriors, then you just knew what the stats were. So there was no issue
Yeah.
with going. Oh, let me just check that a second. But then obviously there was you know at least twice as many models on the board. So you know, initially you're kind of just going, moving these ones, move. So, but yeah, it was. But I really enjoyed it. Definitely want to do more. I mean, Ben has got more dwarves. He's just going to paint them up. So that game was a 475 points game. We're going to ramp it up to a kind of six, seven, 800.
Yeah.
I've got some, I've got my armies planned out. Some interesting stuff to play with.
No, it's no. I think it should be. It's good. I mean, I've got the dwarves as well, which I've built up to make an 800 point army. But they're built. and that is it. So I need to paint him and actually get him onto the board. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely make that happen, and it will be a lot of fun because I also really want to use Angmar.
yeah,
Because I've got a Witch King on Fell Beast model. I've got a Witch King on Horse. I've got the Dwemer Lake. I've got you saw the Cave Troll that I changed into Birder. So I've got a whole army around those guys, and yeah, just exciting stuff. But yeah. Anyway, shall we get into today's scenario we're going to discuss?
yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about secure the area, which is. Do you want to tell us about that one, Steve?
So, security area. Hidden somewhere upon the battlefield lies something of great value to both sides. Whether this is a hoard of treasure, the entrance to a secret passageway, the fallen body of an ally, or even something much more valuable, both sides must strive to claim it and defend it at all costs. So, the objectives is both sides are seeking to lay claim to the objective and must not only fight their way to it but also defend it once there. Once one battle company has been broken, the game might suddenly end. At the end of each turn, after this condition has been met, roll a d6. On the result of 1 to 2, the game ends. Otherwise, the battle continues for another turn. So it's basically find something, fight, get it, defend it. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. So,
Yeah, the big difference between secure the area and most other scenarios is that you have the maelstrom of war set up,
yeah.
which means that you don't set up your company as you would normally, like kind of 12 inches from the center, sorry, 12 inches from the edge or a certain distance from the center. You roll to see where your models come on. So on a 1, they don't arrive at all. Then going kind of round the kind of square of the outside at 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the different edges, and then a 6 you get to choose. So you take it in turns to put your models down, and that means that it's the luck of the draw as to how close together your guys can end up being. Because I remember thinking one of the first times I ever played this, I was playing against Dave, and his leader just got put on one side, and I had a whole bunch of guys. So I just went, "Oh, you're dead then," because you can just go up and just trap people. So it's interesting. It's an interesting way to do it because there's you can kind of have a plan of how you're going to play it and everything, but there's actually you actually have no idea how that plan's going to actually come to fruition, because essentially you're going to go, well, I'll see where I end up and then I'll just charge to the middle, I guess.
That's it. It's pretty much it's a hope and pray, and I think it's one of those ones you get your minis on the board, you want to get to the middle of the board as quick as you can. So it's definitely one of those kind of games. So, yeah. So that's that. The victory, defeat, and draw conditions of it is: victory, your battle company has at least twice as many models within 3 inches of the objective than your opponents. So this is an interesting one. Oh, is it interesting? Oh, no. That's one of those ones when you could break someone too soon, kind of thing, but you may still have too many minis there. So again, it's that kind of deciding thing. Defeat, your opponent's battle company has at least twice as many models within 3 inches of your objective than yours. Funnily enough, it's the opposite to the victory condition, and a draw is any
No way.
and a draw is any other situation. So again, one of these battles where you need to be careful when you're killing, so you can't go wild. If you don't have twice as many people in at whatever, and you got one guy going heroic combat crazy outside and killing everyone, before you know it, you could lose, or it could be a draw. So yeah. Special rules: wild search. At the end of each of your move phases, roll a d6 for one of your models. Not already. Oh, that's already we done that, didn't we? Battlefield. So,
Well, yeah, I didn't finish what I was saying. We didn't finish the whole thing.
Sorry.
But if they don't turn up, then they can turn up at the end. You roll at the end of each move phase as if they do turn up.
that's it. Yeah.
So you're not just without your leader for the entirety of the game, because that would really suck. But yeah, it's I like this one because of the maelstrom element. I think if it was just a central objective and you charge towards it, then it's not as interesting.
No.
The fact that the people are all over the place means it is a little bit more interesting. But generally, I mean, it's not one of my favourite ones. I think that the maelstrom thing makes it more interesting. But I think any scenario where you're just all charging towards the centre, it just feels a bit. Unless you've got cavalry and they haven't, and you can kind of swing up one side and kind of curl back in and go around a bit and get some different angles on stuff and whatever, then it's a bit. Yeah. It's just like, oh.
I like the idea of it's like there's a battle gone on, something's happened, and the idea is like, guys, we need to get this and get it out. You know, we got to get up there and charge as quick as we can. And it's that idea of just like, right, how are we going to get there? Guys, just go, Rah! And however you get there, it's a mess, like, you know. And it doesn't matter how strong, like, literally, if there's a whole load of you together in one, you know, if you, say you had dwarves, but your dwarves are scattered at every point, and there's two on ones and three on ones all the time, they're ruined. Like, suddenly your guys who've got lances and spears and all this, they're useless on their own, like, you know, it removes that element. And it's how do you play? What do you do? So, you know, do you sacrifice someone for the greater good? Do you just like, no, you know, I'm going to charge him in there, see if you can hold off these guys while my other guys make the distance and stuff. I think, no, it definitely throws tactics out the window. So it's like if you're playing or play with someone who's very tactic led or such like this, I think it definitely gives an opportunity to mix it up. Is how I feel about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right that there's a good opportunity to go, well, I did have a plan. Now what am I going to do? Because it gives you a chance to kind of think on your feet a little bit more. And I mean, I do feel like it's the sort of scenario where if you've got short movement or no cavalry, then you're at a big disadvantage because once people are at the centre, there's no reason for them to leave it, particularly because they can just sit there.
Yeah.
Unless, and it's probably a good scenario for if you've got good shooting, because if you can position yourself somewhere where
I've lost your audio.
If you position yourself somewhere where you can see the centre of the board and you've got better shooting, then you know you've got a really good opportunity just to kind of pick people off bit by bit. So that's I think Stephen can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Look really confused from it.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, no,
You're
you're back. Yeah, no, I lost you for a second. You just literally disappeared. So I've no idea what you just said. So, but I'm gonna do. Yes.
I said it was probably it's a good scenario if you've got good shooting because you can position yourself somewhere you can see the centre and just kind of pick off the models in the centre. So it's a good one. I will give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I'm say 6 or 7 out of 10. I would. I'm doing great tonight. I am. You still there?
I'm still here. You just kind of broke up again.
Yeah. No, 1 second. There we go. Yeah, I'm back now. I'm back with vengeance. Sorry about that. So no. Yeah, no. I think I say 7, but thematically, put myself thematic in there. What's happening?
Fair enough.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah, your camera's not gone now.
It's an awful picture of me there. So.
It's just a black screen for me. So, there we go. I tell you what, you can try and sort out your technical difficulties. I will introduce the good company of the week, which is the Men of the West. Right, here goes.
You bastard.
Following the Battle of Pelennor Fields, you bastard, the three peoples of Middle-earth hatch one final plan to draw Sauron's gaze away from Mordor and onto themselves. Yet, even as they rolled to the Black Gate, Aragorn, Éomer, and Imrahil sent groups of trusted warriors to scour the lands outside Mordor for any enemy patrolling warbands or small outposts. With the combined forces of Minas Tirith, Rohan, and Dol Amroth, these valiant companies of allies would assault the defences of the Dark Lord, weakening his armies and preventing them from marching to war against the free peoples at the Black Gate. Fighting side by side, the warriors of these three great realms of men fight with a renewed vigour whilst they remain together. You bastard. So, don't know if... can you hear me still, Stephen?
Yeah, I've still got you. So, but I didn't get myself ready because I'm really good at that. So, the starting battle company for the men of the West is, as the pastor Duodane. So it is one knight of Dol Amroth. They must be your leader. One man at arms of Dol Amroth. Then a warrior of Minas Tirith with shield. A warrior of Minas Tirith with bow. A warrior of Rohan with throwing shield and spear. And a warrior of Rohan with bow. So that's the starting company.
And the reinforcements, so three influence points for reinforcements. 1 will get you nothing. 2 will get you a warrior of Rohan with a choice of war gear. 3 will get you a warrior of Minas Tirith with choice of war gear. 4 will get you a man at arms of Dol Amroth. 5 will give you a choice of the above, and 6 will give you a roll on the special chart. Special chart consists of 2 options. A 1 to 3 will give you a Rohan Royal Guard, and a 4 to 6 will give you a Knight of Dol Amroth. Yeah, that's... so there's the company hero upgrade is Stand Men of the West. Standing side by side, the Men of the West fight to defend Middle-earth against the threat of Mordor. Warrior models within 3 inches of the hero count as being within range of a banner. I mean, that is ridiculous. Possibly the best company hero upgrade there is. I'm going to put it out there and say
it. You think?
Well, banners are so important. They are so important to... I mean, if you have all 3 of your heroes, starting heroes, and you get that for them, you've got 3 banners on the field, and you can go off into 3 mini war bands, all with a banner.
No, fair enough. So, it's a good one. Then, onto the advancements. So the advancements, Warrior of Rohan becomes a Rohan Royal Guard. Warrior of Rohan with bow becomes a Rider of Rohan. A man at arms of Dol Amroth becomes a Knight of Dol Amroth. And a Warrior of Minas Tirith becomes a Knight of Minas Tirith with shield. So, yeah. So,
and this is and the final thing to mention is that the company special rules, all Rohan hero models gain the Expert Rider special rule. So, yeah. Onto the stat line. Starting off with a Knight of Dol Amroth. That has heavy armor, has shield and a sword. Can be given a lance and can be given an armored horse. Now their stats are movement 6, fight 4, 4+ for shooting, strength 3, defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound, and a courage of 4.
He is pretty meaty, isn't he, to start with? Strength 3, fight 4 good, 4+, defense 6 is good, so strength is his only downside on it. But, get him on a horse.
Strength is average. Get him on a horse, give him a lance, and he's +1 to wound on the charge. So, yeah, I think they're you've been up against enough Knights of Dol Amroth in my fiefdom's company to know that they are handy.
Yeah, no, they. They are pretty meaty. They are.
They're like a Uruk, but more courageous and higher defense, but not quite strong. So decent. So no. Then Knights of Dol Amroth. They're annoying. They're hard work. They are. So yeah. So yeah, decent start. One of them in there. Then next one is a man of arms of Dol Amroth, which is a heavy armor, pike and sword.
So then movement 6, fight 4, 4 plus, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, and 3 courage. So just a little bit weak on the courage, a little bit weak on the defense. Still strong defense, still very strong fight value. So
Yep. And you got Warrior Minas Tirith next up with heavy armor and sword. They can take a shield, a bow, or a spear. They've got the shield wall special rule, which means if they have a shield and they are in base contact with 2 other models that also have shields, then they get a +1 to their defense. And that's only available whilst they're on foot. They've got a movement 6, fight 3, 4+ for shooting, strength 3, defense 5 or 6 if they've got a shield, 7 if they're in shield wall, 1 attack, 1 wound, and courage 3.
Yeah. So shield wall is pretty damn strong though, isn't it? But yeah. Oh, then again, Minas Tirith. Minas Tirith. Fight.
I mean, yeah. I think once we've kind of gone through all of them, I'll give you my kind of thoughts on this and how good I think they are actually, despite my previous statements about Minas Tirith as a thing. So
no,
yeah, they are. They've got that's an absolutely decent stat line. Like we said before when we did the episode on Minas Tirith, they are a perfect starting company. They're just not very interesting. But this isn't a Minas Tirith company. It just has some Minas Tirith warriors within it.
Yeah. No, this is it. I mean, I suppose you can pull some of the strength of them being in there. Again, they're just one of those ones like you hope you don't. To me, I hope you don't roll them under upgrades.
Yeah, there are more interesting things to roll. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, give me 1 second, Chris.
Going to do the next one?
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds.
So, next up you've got the Warrior of Rohan, which comes with an armor and sword as standard. They can have throwing spears, they can have a shield, and they can have a bow. So their stat line is movement 6, fight 3 with 4+ for shooting, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, and courage of 3. So slightly worse than Minas Tirith Warrior, but they do have access to throwing spears, which is always kind of a handy thing to have.
Put it this way,
especially with
if you were to stuck between Minas Tirith and Warrior of Rohan, who would you choose?
What for this company or in general?
In general, no. Say this company. These guys here at the present moment. Who would you choose?
I choose a Warrior of Rohan.
It's progression, isn't it? It's what they can become, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, the Warrior of Minas Tirith can become a knight, which means that they can have a lance, which means they get +1 to wound and they're on a horse and blah blah blah. A Warrior of Rohan become a Rohan Royal Guard. So, yeah, they are. Rohan Royal Guards are really handy.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather have a Rohan Royal Guard than a Knight of Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
Rohan Royal Guards you can put on horses anyway. So, yeah.
No, that's it.
That's what I think. So,
well,
speaking of Rohan Royal Guards, are you good to do the
I
next
am,
one?
yeah. Sorry, I had children running in, so I had to deal with them. So, yeah.
Hopefully your own.
Oh, no, it's no. I was going to say something completely inappropriate.
It's a family show.
Just get back in underneath the stairs. No, okay. So Rohan Roll Guard, heavy armor, shield and sword, throwing spears and horse. Throwing spears, which I love. Bodyguard, all warrior and hero models with the same army list with this special rule will automatically bodyguard the hero from the same army list with the highest heroic tier. If there's more than one hero with the highest heroic tier, the controlling player may choose. As long as the bodyguarded model was alive on the battlefield, this model passes all courage tests. They also...
Yeah, I copy and pasted that from the rulebook, so basically that should have said, if the leader's alive, they pass all courage tests.
There you go. And expert rider, whilst mounted, expert rider may re-roll the dice when making jump, swim, and throwing rider tests, which is nice. While mounted, model carrying both a shield and bow will still receive the +1 defense bonus for being armed with a shield. If the model dismounts, they will lose this bonus. Additionally, an expert rider can pick up light objects without having to dismount, which is key. To me, expert rider being able to not dismount is really, really awesome. The stat line is movement 6, fight 4 for plus, strength 3, defense 6, attacks 1, wounds 1, and courage 3. So nice juicy one there. If it's a hero Rohan going up, that stat line can only improve more and more. It's if I had him, I'd be getting the strength up. But apart from that, pretty to me, I like it. I like his stat.
Royal Guards are annoyingly good. Starting at fight 4 and having bodyguard is really, really useful. Useful in particular scenarios. Useful against particular. Like if you're playing against Moria and they've got a cave troll, well, the Royal Guards can just get stuck in, so they don't have to worry about the courage test for charging in there. So yeah, they are useful. Riders of Rohan, they have armor, sword or an axe, shield and bow, and they can have throwing spears as an extra thing, and they have the expert rider special rule. They are movement 6, they are fight 3, they've got a horse as well. So movement 6 if they're on foot, and 10 inches if they're on the horse. I'd say horsey horse. This is the way it goes. Fight 3 plus for shooting, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, and a courage of 3.
Nice. Yeah. Minister to me, I just vanilla, and I'm not as much. I don't enjoy him as much. So yeah, but yeah, so not a bad upgrade.
Yeah, it's not. It's the 3 plus for shooting is handy, particularly with throwing spears. Two-thirds chance of causing a strength 3 hit as you charge in. Not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
And you got Knights of Minas Tirith to finish off. I can't see you still, so I don't know if I can't tell if you're.
Oh no, I'm still here. I am
good to go on this.
Yeah. Can you not see me?
I cannot see you. I've not been able to see you since.
Oh no, I've got.
I first said I couldn't see you.
I've got it all going. So, Knights of Minas Tirith, heavy armor, sword, lance, horse, shield. Shield wall if the model is armed with a shield whilst in base contact with 2 or more non-prone models with this special rule that are armed with a shield. This model gains a +1 to its defense. Lovely. The bonus is only available whilst on foot. Not so lovely. And then movement 6, fight 3, 4 plus, strength 3, defense 5, attacks 1, wounds 1, and courage 3. So yeah, yeah.
And that's a lot of different things to have on a company list. What's your thoughts on this company?
So basically, Amroth and Rohan strong. Minas is just, it feels like they're the balancing part of the list. Look, there's a lot of horses in here. Does it have a cavalry limit? This one does, doesn't it? So it's not like Rohan.
I'll just check. It should be. Carry on saying what you're saying. I'll check whether it's any different to.
So no,
to normal.
I think basically the fact is that you can have Rohan Royal Guards. You've got throwing spears in there. Then you got Doamroth with the lances as well. Those are 2 key weapons. Just on the ground being able to lance through, and on horses, and the throwing spears thrown into combat as well, which I think is awesome. They're very it literally depends on your upgrades, doesn't it? Who gets upgraded onto the horse, or the advancements if they get up there onto the horses and stuff. And then if you have a cavalry or horsey limit, if you have a horsey limit on it.
Horsey, it's standard, so 1/3.
1/3, yeah.
Yeah.
So that limits it. This could be killer if it didn't have a horse limit, because the Rohan are quite good. But the riders.
I'm just going to put it out there and say that this might be the strongest company we've had so far.
I think it's got everything in every aspect. The thing is, you got a snatch and grab with the Rohan. You do have defense with the Minas Tirith per se, and the Dol Amroth are just good all rounder. They're disgusting. They are. I don't like them, mainly because I've lost against them. But they are really good. They are really good. So, it is a very strong battle company to put together. It is one I would very much be tempted with, and also quite beginner friendly as well.
I I'm not sure if it's completely beginner friendly because I think there's some stuff going on which needs to be thought about because I think ideally you're going to want if you were just talking about having a battle line, you want to have your warrior of Minas Tirith with shield at the front, forming their shield wall. You want man at arms of Dol Amroth at the back, providing spear support because that gives you there'll be spear supporting, and they're providing the fight for to the entire fight. Then you've got a couple of bow guys. I mean, like you've only got strength 2 shooting. I mean, like the only thing that's missing from this company is extra strength because everyone is strength 3. But having said that, your cavalry, so your knights of Dol Amroth and your knights of Minas Tirith can get lances, which give +1 to wound
Yeah.
on the charge, which is going to make a big difference. So, yeah, I mean it's a tricky one to decide. I mean, the reason it's not beginner friendly, I'm going to say, is because it's very difficult, I think, to decide who should be your starting leader. Well, your leader's sorted for you, but in terms of your sergeants, it's very difficult to decide who should do what because of the amount of advancements.
Ooh, yeah.
Because, I mean, a man at arms of Dol Amroth becomes the knight of Dol Amroth, and knight of Dol Amroth is your top thing on your reinforcement chart. So he's going to want to be a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Then a Minas Tirith warrior becomes a knight of Minas Tirith. That's good.
Yeah.
And warrior of Rohan becomes Rohan Royal Guard. So you kind of want all of them to stay as warriors until they can become heroes.
Oh, I don't.
Until they upgrade. And
I don't know. I see. Obviously, Knight Dol Amroth is your leader. Has to be a leader. I probably would just go to Man at Arms and go to Rohan Warrior. I wouldn't Minas Tirith it. That would be my view. But that's just purely because I've played against Dol Amroth, and they are a Man at Arms. Dol Amroth becomes a Knight of Dol Amroth, and yeah, just they're not nice. So and get them on a horse and stuff like that, and the defense 6, 7 with shield. It's defense 6.
Then actually thinking about it, I think that no, I can't actually decide because the other thing to consider is the fact that the Rohan heroes get the expert rider rule, and because they get the expert rider rule, you want let's think about the fact that you're gonna have, let's say your maxed out company of 15, you have 5 horsey horses. You want a good amount of them to have to be Rohan, so they've got expert rider, because the ability to swing by on a horse and pick up a light object is painfully good. Having not ever played as Rohan, but suffered at the hands of this ability way too many times. It's such a good thing to be able to do. So maybe I would have a Minas Tirith. I might have a warrior of Minas Tirith with bow be a ranger or a sharpshooter.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. I'm just going back down Minas Tirith. Where are we?
It's a really, I mean, Knight of Dol Amroth, that's as your leader, that's decided for you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking path-wise, probably going to go half of the knight
Yeah,
because he's a knight.
he is.
It's going to be that or duelist, I think, in my head. Um,
Just,
Man at arms, I'm just going down them one by one. I really, genuinely can't decide on this. It's harder than I thought.
see, the thing is, if I went Minas Tirith, one of the Minas Tirith boys would be a defender because everything that comes with them in that way. I'm just trying to think. Would I go Rohan? I don't know. Who would be a warrior? Who would you put as a? If you could put as a warrior, I don't. The thing is, it's like it literally. You could go many different ways with this army, couldn't you? I mean, again, like you could go strong defense, Minas Tirith. Go that way around with it. You could go fast. You could put a lot into the Rohans and it's fast attacking, running around, and you could get rangers and sharpshooters in there. Try to improve the bows and make them kind of handy. Get them on horses with good bow shooting, extra shots, and stuff like that. Could make them interesting. You could, if I say defense, and Doamroth are like real warriors and knights, aren't they? That's that way around with those guys. They're like, yeah, that's.
I think I've made a decision.
You tell me.
So I'll tell you. And last week I watched all 3 extended editions of the films in 3 days. So it's properly went for it. So with the Aragorn's speech playing in my mind, I'm going to say that obviously Knight of Dol Amroth, he's my leader, he's Path of the Knight, and I would use my Prince Imrahil model for him. I would have the Warrior of Minas Tirith with shield be one of my sergeants, and that would be an Aragorn model. So I'd have Aragorn. I'd make it like it's a mini company of all of the men of the West.
Yeah.
And then so that means that my final one would be a warrior of Rohan with throwing spear and shield, and that would be Aemir. And I'd use my incredible model that I've made with
Aemir,
which you've seen with him cutting an Uruk's head off.
Yeah.
And that leaves your warrior of Rohan with bow to become a rider of Rohan. It leaves your man at arms of Dol Amroth to become a knight of Dol Amroth, so you've got another one of them. And it leaves your warrior of Minas Tirith with bow to become a knight of Minas Tirith, I guess, because it just says it all. Yeah, that's my decision, and I would say that the first upgrade that every single one of my heroes got would be that they would take the company special rule and become banners, because having the main reason I ever go for Path of the General is for inspiring presence to become a banner.
That's it. Yeah. I wouldn't use it here. You can buy it here.
Yeah, you can just go. Oh, I have a 3-inch banner now. Fantastic.
That's what she said.
So that's exactly. So it's I mean, this is right up there with. I mean, let's talk about weaknesses. The only weakness is the lack of strength 4 off the bat.
Yeah.
And there's no. Apart from riders of Rohan who are going to have axes, there's no option to do any kind of real sensible special strikes. So
to be fair,
yeah.
To be fair though, they haven't got the horrendous defense off the bat either. They're doing pretty well with Knight of Dol Amroth with a defense 6, man at arms with a defense 5. Although they haven't got the strength, the fight value's up at 4s for a few of them. Then it goes down to 3s. They're not horrendous, are they? To start, and it's just
No, I think they're really good. They're really, really good, especially with that. I know I keep banging on about it, but having a banner is well. If we don't talk about equipment very much, but if you go to So I'm on the equipment section. So for 3 influence points, you can buy a company standard, which means that friendly models within 3 inches of a company standard may re-roll a single dual roll of 1 exactly as if they were arranged in a banner. So for 3 influence points, you can get something which means that if you are within 3 inches, then you can re-roll a 1 in your dual roll.
Mm.
It also means that it does allow you to re-roll failed courage tests, and a couple of other things. But by carrying it, you're suffering a -1 to your own dual roll. So, and you're paying 3 influence points for that. Or you just have a hero that can get that pretty much straight away.
Yeah, it makes sense just to do that then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that not many companies have got things with Fight 4 straight away.
Yeah.
So if you've got Fight 4, get upgraded to Fight 5, have a banner.
Yeah.
If you're kind of Fight 4 and Fight 5 and you've got maybe 3 banners, there isn't a lot that you're losing against.
No. No.
Even elves.
Those damn elves.
God, I hate them. So, yeah, I think I'm tempted to put this higher than Mordor, but I can't. So I'm going to put it the same as Mordor. I'm going to say it's an 8.5 out of 10. There isn't a whole lot wrong with this at all.
No, I think it's a pretty strong list to start with. The progress on it, there's a good decent amount of progress across the board on it. I would be setting that up as a 8.5 as well.
You can't just copy me all the time just because I'm right.
No, I'm not copying you because you're right. I mean, I want to give it a 9, but I don't like going up that high.
Well, it's like there has to be something on the list that's a 10.
Yeah, goblins.
So goblins.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see when we get round to that.
Hobbits.
Maybe, but I'm just looking at Mordor again. And I think the other thing to consider is it's a really cheap company to get into. I mean, if you can proxy the Knights of Dol Amroth,
Yeah,
then
you're good.
in terms of starting it, it's really easy. Later game when if you might have 3 different types of cavalry, which means it might be a little bit prohibitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna nudge Mordor up to a 9.
Retrospectively pushing them up.
Retrospectively pushing it up because I'm just looking at it and I can't because I don't know which one's better. They're both really good. They're both on 8.5.
Just a quick one. We got a few people in the chat. I'm not sure if you're seeing the stuff. People said good evening, good afternoon.
No, I haven't seen anything in the chat.
Oh, okay. So been loving the podcast. Can't stay too long, but when our Mirkwood Elves going to be shown, going to a game day with them, and then Truckers for Trump. Been looking forward to this one. Dunland are my boys. So yeah, obviously, sorry guys. Obviously, as a recording podcast, we don't always jump back into it. Oh, Chris doesn't see half the chat anyhow. He's blind. He's not. So, but yeah.
It's literally just not come up.
Does it not come up?
No.
No. I know. I get it here. So,
Okay.
but yeah. So
You can be chat supervisor.
okay, cool. I don't know when to interrupt him when he's in flow. Like, you know, it's just. Oh. Don't know if I'm allowed to interrupt him. So, anyhow, yeah.
I think at any natural break, if there's a comment, just throw it in there. If we're going by order, then Mirkwood Elves are still a few weeks off, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Soz.
Not.
But send us £1 million and we'll do it next week.
Oh, straight down.
Yeah. Easy. Anything else to say on them at all?
No, I think I'm sticking 8.5. I don't fully know what I would do them as though, and progress paths and stuff. That's something I feel like I actually need to spend a bit of time to think about, because you could also put them the hero path. Sorry, you could put one hero path which could actually be counterproductive to the entire thing. So you want I dare I say it, that dirty word synergy in your army. Like, you want that to work because they could all disappear down different paths, and suddenly what unifies them separates them. Like, I could put one down one route, one down the other route, and then it's not really bouncing off the back of each other. So I'd need to spend a bit of time thinking on that. I definitely think there would be a knight in there.
So for me, my Knight of Dol Amroth would be on par for the Knight. My Warrior of Minas Tirith, which would be Aragorn, would be on par for the Duelist, just because that suits Aragorn. And I think that let's go, unless there's anything that says that Path of the, I tell you what, Aemir on Path of the Defender, unless you can't have a horse on Path of the Defender. But I think you can.
I think you can have a horse on Path of the Defender.
No, infantry only. So scratch that.
But that's it there, so that's one of those paths that would counter. Sorry.
Yeah, so you should be disgusting. I'm gonna go.
I'm suffering
I'm going
here.
for Path of the Martyr for Aemir.
Oh,
Just because
it's your new favourite, isn't it?
I just think he's just a bit crazy. So yeah,
There we go.
I'm gonna go with that. Right, so on to Dunland. That's where I wish I'd brought a second glass of water. Oh, this one's not too long.
Precious.
Oh God, I don't feel like I've got it. When Saruman's church was finally revealed, he called upon northern axes and Uruk to wage war upon the kingdom of Dunland. The Dunlanding people have hated the warrior for centuries forces, and they are required little persuasion to join the White Wizard's cause to see to the destruction of those who have fought for Subland for many years. Whilst most of the Dunlandings joined Saruman's armies, some smaller bands were captivated and this accident sentiments in secret pressures, causing panic before the main armies of Isengard would attack. These bands would often venture into the wider lands of Middle-earth in order to raid and pillage, these settlements gaining wealth and renown amongst other people as they slaughtered those in their path. That was my worst one yet.
I thought it was pretty good. I still think it was pretty good.
I disagree. Tell us about Dunland Starting Company. Stop dying.
So, the Dunland... I'm trying to. The Dunland Starting Company. So, you get 2 Dunland warriors with shield, 1 Dunland warrior with 2-handed axe, 1 Dunland warrior with bow, and 4 wild men of Dunland.
You certainly do. Reinforcements. Quite a bit going on here. So 3 influence points for reinforcements. 1 will get you nothing. 2 will get you a wild man of Dunland. 3 will get you a Dunlanding warrior with 2-handed. 3 will get you Dunlanding warrior with bow. 4 will get you one with a 2-handed axe. 5 you get one with a shield. 6 will bring you onto the special chart. On the special chart, you have a 1 or 2 gives you a Dunlanding Huskarl. 3 to 4 gives you a Dunlanding Horseman, and a 5 to 6 will give you a Creebane. A Creebane cannot gain experience and therefore can never become a hero.
Nice. You're going to need to talk me through those extra ones because I haven't a freaking clue what they are. Huskarl, Horseman, and Creebane. But we'll do it when we go through the stats on them. So,
we certainly will.
So the next thing is the advancement. So a wild man of Dunland can become a Dunland warrior with choice of war gear. So that's just a nice upgrade there. Dunland warrior with a 2-handed axe can become a Dunland Huskarl. And a Dunland warrior with shield can become a Dunland Huskarl as well.
Yep. and the company hero upgrade, Frenzied Fighter. Having been whipped into a maddened state by the words of the White Wizard, the hero shrugs off all but the most grievous wounds in order to fight to the last. Each time this hero suffers a wound, roll a d6. On a 5+, the wound is ignored exactly as if a point of fate had been spent. That's a really tasty upgrade. It's you got this in similar similar things on other companies, but something that I really like. And in this company, you've got unique war gear, which is the Dunlending War Axe, which will give you, which will cost you 1 influence points, and essentially it's something which you can use as a spear or as a 2-handed axe.
Nice.
So, yes. Now, if you are confused about any of these, and you've not seen them before, it's because most of the stat profiles are not in the main army list book. They exist in the War in Rohan expansion. So Dunlending warriors and Wildmen of Dunland you'll find in there, but the other stuff you will not. So yeah, that might be why there is some confusion. So do you want to start off with the stat line?
Yeah, so the Dunlending warrior is armor and axe, shield. Then you can have either shield, bow, 2-handed axe. Movement 6, fight 3, 4+. They got a good strength 4 to start with for humans, defense 4, attacks 1, wounds 1, courage 3. So they're a little bit stronger as a human, but the fight value is a little bit lower. So, well, no, it's matching most of the humans it is, so, just a little bit stronger. So
it's a slightly stronger warrior of Rohan, essentially what it is.
yeah.
Then you got Wild Men of Dunland, which they have a sword or axe.
Mm-hmm.
They can get themselves a 2-handed axe. They have the Hatred of Rohan special rule, which means they have +1 to wound any models with the Rohan keyword. Now their stat line is pretty average. No, pretty meh. Let's be honest. Movement 6, fight 3, 4+, strength 3, defense 3, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage of 3. So pretty
Meh.
I mean that's not good.
They're the cannon fodder there, aren't they? Like,
They are the chaff.
And yeah, only on a 1 and 6, on your up reinforcements, you got a chance of getting them. So
yeah,
hopefully that's the only 4 that you've got. So
yeah.
So then Dunland Huskal is heavy armor, Dunland War Axe, and dagger. The Dunland War Axe can be used as a spear or 2-handed axe. So I like that. That's quite interesting. Bodyguard, and also favour of the War Chief. The Dunland Huskars are handpicked by Frydan, and tasked with anchoring.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke here. What? How do you pronounce that?
I'm going to go with Thryden.
Fryden. Okay, I wasn't far off. Fryden.
Yeah, but you said that about 19 times.
Yeah.
I thought I thought the record in your head had got stuck.
Fryden. And tasked with anchoring the lines around the various chieftains and the war chief's chosen fighters. Dunland Huskars supporting a fight within 3 inches of a friendly Dunland hero gains +1 fight value for the duration of the fight. So Dunland Huskars supporting a fight within 3 inches of friendly Dunland. No, yeah. So their fight value, I mean, it just brings their fight up to 4. So they are movement 6, fight 3, 4+, strength 4, defense 5, attacks 1, wounds 1, courage 3. So, but being near to a hero makes them a fight 4, which is handy to have. So yeah, it's not horrendous, but they have to advance to a Huskar to get that. So yeah. That's that.
And then moving on to Dunlending Horsemen. So they have armor, shield, a horse, axe, and a dagger. And they've got a special rule: slay their horses. So from atop their horses, the Dunlending Horsemen are well placed to strike down at the mounts of their foes. Whilst they have the cavalry keyword, Dunlending Horsemen reroll 1s to wound against mounts. So, I mean, reroll all failed wound rolls would be
better.
better, but it's better than nothing. But yeah, so they've got movement of 6 or 10 inches if they're on the horsey horse. Fight 3, 4 plus for shooting. Strength 4, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, and courage of 3. So actually, just thinking about it, so a standard horse is defense 4. They are strength 4, so that'd be wounding on 4s. So unless unless you roll a 2 or a 3, then you get another. Then you're either wounding or you get another shot at wounding. So yeah, that's not armored horse is not so good, but that's not bad. And moving us on to Creebane, which
Just a quick one. Broken Golem here said, I like that if a Huskar becomes a hero, they just get an auto +1 fight as long as they're supporting. It is, yeah, it's good. And bear in mind if they are a hero, it goes up and up and up. So yeah, it's a handy trait to have. No one else, I don't think there's anyone else who gets a +1 to fight that easy, just by being next to someone. Anyhow, Creebane. Beak and claws. So take it down bird then.
so do you remember in the Fellowship of the Ring where they're heading up the Misty Mountain, and Saruman sends like a flock of birds to kind of attack them, and they kind of hide under the rocks and stuff. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So they Creebane those are Creebane, and they are kind of spies for him as well. So that's what they are all about.
So they have fly movement, which is 12-inch movement, can ignore control zones, keen sight, enemy models within 12 inches of one or more Creebane gain no benefit from the stalk unseen special rule. Nice, so that removes any hidden guys. Cloud of birds only get hit on a natural 6 from shooting attacks. Nice. And then movement 4, obviously 12 by flying. Fight 2, 6 plus shoot. Obviously because they can't shoot. Strength 2, defense 3, 2 attacks, 4 wounds, and courage 3. So having 4 wounds obviously is a flock of birds, isn't it? And they can't get shot out of the sky, so they're going to need to be in combat. Okay.
They can be shot out of the sky. It's just unlikely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I tell you what, this is interesting. It's just completely different. 2 attacks, not the strongest, but still not horrendous. And with the amount of wounds, they can tie people up for a while, can't they? So if they're in combat, a flock of birds, yeah, you might be able to kill them, but they can tie people up for possibly a turn, maybe 2 turns, before you get killed.
I think that they are the ultimate go and grab an objective on the other side of the board type thing. So yeah, they are handy, and if you get a couple of them involved, then yeah, not some. I mean, fight 2's not great, but if you've got something which is, if they join a fight with someone that's got up to fight 4, fight 5, then yeah, so they're providing an extra couple of dice in the attack. So yeah, they're certainly something. They're a different flavour, which I like. So I think you come into this company a little bit blind. Kind of just went, this is the one we're doing. So having read through it all, what's your thoughts on it?
The slightly stronger humans, they're not bad. They're not bad. The wild men are a bit. They are your flak, but no, they're interesting. I do like the Creebane for the flying across the board, and the horsemen are quite alright. Yeah, I like the idea of slay their horses. So say if I was playing against who are you with your bloody camels?
Farharad.
Yeah, just getting in there and just killing your camels, just anything. It's a different. I tell you what, you're playing a different game with these guys off the bat. That's it. You're just playing a different game. So you're going for horses, and yeah, if you get the Creebane, you're doing something there with it. You know what? I wouldn't say I hate them, Um, definitely better than Minister of. But yeah, I
They're,
think
they're
that,
more excited. They're more exciting than the Ministerial. That's for sure.
and then
Um,
also yeah, the hero is the fact that the frenzied fighter on the D6, like what's it? Feel no pain, but it's a 5+, not a 6+, like So
yeah,
those kind of things add to it, like I definitely think these guys are going to be vicious in the combat, like So just a broken column. I don't think there's a lot of flying models and battle companies, he said, and always a fan of strength 4 models with piercing strike. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
The,
things I was about to bring up was like either piercing strike or going double hand. I mean, I think that I would be. I think with my wild men of Dunland, like where none of them would be. All of those would be standard warriors, and I think that every single time I was in a fight with them, unless it was
yeah.
no statistical advantage to become strength 4, then I would be piercing strike every single time because when you're defense 3 anyway, like you know, if you're up against something that's strength 3, and most things are strength 3. I mean, I can't think of anything that's not strength 2.
Yeah.
Maybe some hobbits or something. But in the most part, if you're up against strength 3 and you're defense 3, you're getting wounded on 4s. If your defense drops down, then you're going to get wounded on 3s rather than 4s, which is not like it's a 16% better chance. But
Yeah.
I think that it's just something that was worth doing. I think that it'd be interesting to have your Wildman of Dunland as your shield wall with no shields and defense 3, with your Huskarls behind using their Dunlending war axes as spear support.
Yeah.
Um, so you've got something that's strength 4 behind, maybe pushed up to fight 4 because of their locality to a hero, and then you got something doing piercing strike at the front, and if it's against Rohan, chucking another +1 to wound. So yeah, it'd be. I mean, I think that they could be pretty tasty. Um, there's a lot going on, so yeah, there is a lot going on, but they are very much glass cannons. I think you can have some
Yeah.
very, very quick games for them for either very good reasons or very bad reasons, I think.
Yeah. No, I think no, they are. Yeah. I think they're quite interesting. You'd have to play with them, but there's a problem with being able to play with them, and
Yes.
that is the cost of them.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it properly, Jesus Christ. Oh,
Just and that's not
I
it.
looked it up. Sorry.
No. I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, and that's just the base company. That's not even the upgrades, like
Yeah, so I went on the Games Workshop site before we jumped on the podcast tonight. So if you want to get the official Dunlending models from the Games Workshop site, you're going to spend £57 for 14 Dunlending models, which will give you enough for your company. But then you want to use a Wildman of Dunland, and if you're going to do it properly, which you don't have to do, it's £42.50 for 12 Wildman of Dunland. So I didn't look up the Huskarls, but I'm going to do that now because I'm interested, and I'll look up the horse ones as well. Dunlanding Huskarls, 2650. How many need to get? 3.
but you only need
So
two. You can only have two. Oh, well, sorry. So the
no,
Haskell. Sorry.
no,
No.
the Huskarls.
Oh God, no.
So that's like £9 a model. Creebane, God Jesus. Is it? Do you get 2? Oh, sorry. £31.50 for 2 of these models.
The thing is,
And
I mean, literally
sorry.
just alone, because it's an interesting company. This is where it lends to 3D printing, or as Broken Column says, Victrix Vikings are excellent models as well. I think
Yeah,
this is
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
this is
Oh
epoxy
my
art.
God, that is actually disgusting. Sorry, carry on.
Go on. How much?
Dunlending Horseman, £32.50
Yeah.
for two resin miniatures. I
Oh,
mean that they are nice looking models. I'm not going to lie, but £16 for a cavalry model, one cavalry model. I mean
I need.
that's really like disgusting. But yeah, like Broken Golem said, I was going to say because that's what Dave did with his um, Dunlending ones. Is the Victrix Vikings? There's really nice models that are just maybe 10% the price of that, and literally the horse ones. I don't know. I don't know if Victrix Vikings have got the horse ones for that, but yeah, that's the a real stumbling block with getting into a Dunland company. Um, but cost aside, let's say we can proxy it, and it's absolutely fine to proxy whatever you want to proxy, as far as I'm concerned, because it's battle companies, it's supposed to be fun. Um, how are you going to put this army together?
This army is going in for fighting. These guys are wanting to get into it. I want my company heroes to get this frenzied fighter as soon as I can. You know, just the fact that there's always a 5+. There's an extra 5+. An invulnerable save, isn't it? Basically, an invulnerable save of 5+ for those guys, which I think is just perfect. The setup would be it's definitely warrior. Hoping one of them became a horseman. None of them progress to horseman. Huskar, Dunland. No, so they don't progress to horseman. So I wouldn't be using knight or anything on it. So I would definitely use warrior and I would use defender. I would. I would have. Go back to you. Where are you there? So I got two warriors with shield. So yeah, the two warriors with shield and two-handed axe. They're the guys I'm using. The first one with shield would become my leader. He'd be a warrior. Then the other one was shield. I'd put as a defender, and then the two-handed axe. What would I put him as? I'm going to go back up and have a hunt through. What will you do? Have you got any ideas?
Uh, yeah, so I think I think that I would just like someone to be a complete psycho. So I'd go Dunlending warrior with two-handed axe um, as my leader, probably. Um, either leader or sergeant, but yeah, he'd be on par for the warrior. Get
Yeah.
burly straight away. I mean, if you got +1, if you're strength 4 with +1 to wound automatically, and then your piercing strength 5 with +1 to wound. You know, that's that could be absolute filth. So yeah, and then like there's not a whole lot of shooting in this, and that's going to be their massive downfall. They're going to be very susceptible to half decent shooting. Um, but yeah, the Dunlending Warriors with shield, it just makes sense for them to be the other two heroes because you want your Wildmen of Dunland to get up. You want them to advance and become Dunlending Warriors because that the jump up from Wildmen of Dunland to Dunlending Warriors is a pretty decent one. Um, and I think I'd probably have one like that. They are fighters, so I'd have half the warrior, half of the duelist, and I'm gonna have a quick. And I tell you what, I would probably do just to have some extra flavour in. I might have a sorcerer.
Ooh. Ooh. Sorcerer would be quite good.
Because
You
yeah,
sure you wouldn't get a minstrel in there?
not on this one.
No.
I've got a minstrel in my Moria company that I've just been setting up. Would it be worth having a general?
I like this. Broken Golem just said you have a better chance of shooting Kuban if you're shooting past them at another model and hit them with an in the way roll. It's true. You're only hitting on sixes, but if you hit one in the way, that's a 50-50, isn't it?
I think I think I don't think it would count unless you rolled a 6 for the initial thing.
A Dunland Minstrel would be a Scade, I think. I'm trying.
Um,
Where do you get Burley? Which one gets Burley?
it's not called Burley.
Ah,
It's Well, no, it is. It's called Deadly Strength. It's the
That's it.
7
Yeah, yeah.
roll
Oh
on
yeah,
Path
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Warrior.
That's it. Yeah. No, I think no. I would literally go. Um, yeah, yeah. The two-handed would go Path of the Warrior and possibly Leader as well. He's just got to be vicious, and then that 5+ invulnerable save as well. So the hero company upgrade, he would be disgusting. And then the other two, get the other
Yeah,
two, duelist, and then I think duelist. I would go defender. I would personally.
you go
Um,
Defender all the time.
I
I mean,
always go
it's a good path.
I mean,
I
to
can't
be
hate you
fair,
for it.
no, yeah, to be fair, my Iron Hills are going. One of them's going defender.
Great.
Just
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
uh,
None of that's going to be fun. I'm going to get destroyed. Um,
I'm going to win something for once, possibly.
you win a game every now and again.
I do, I
Um,
do.
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to do something just like, and there's a method behind my madness here. I am going to go to have a sorcerer. So one of the ones with a shield is going to be a sorcerer, and the reason for that is the shooting is bang average, and you only start with one person who can shoot. The Wildmen of Dunland can't shoot,
Yeah,
so I think having a sorcerer providing some sort of ranged attack or ranged something or other is something which is going to be very very beneficial. So
yeah.
that's my reasoning. Um, but yeah, they're decent. I think they're one of those companies where early game it's it's going to be slaughter. So I think that they are half of them are just rubbish.
Oh yeah,
Um,
half a mile. I mean, that is you're just charging them out to hold things up, aren't you? You know, or getting away. That's all they're doing. Those 4 wild men. But
yeah, so yeah, the Wildmen of Dunland are slightly more rubbish Mordor orcs who've got slightly better shooting but can't shoot.
yeah,
Unless they're against Rohan, in which case they've got +1 to wound Rohan models. But let's be honest, you know, I mean, it'd be fun to do a Rohan Dunland campaign,
yeah,
um, but yeah, I think once you get the later game stuff, they can be really really fun. So I think if you grind out a bit at the
it is a,
start,
it
then
is a, it is a grind, but it's interesting. The Kree band makes something interesting. There's a couple of interesting different ways of playing the game now. You know, slay the horses where normally you kind of go 50-50. You're like, no, I'm just going to get the horse. And the thing is, they get the horses, the influence points. It's like you could kill twice. Do you get me? Like, you know, it's that kind of stuff. Like, you know, so those kind of things are
yeah,
interesting. You know, and then the +1 to fight the favour of the war chief. Yeah, so if you got Huskars and they get the +1 to the fight value, so they're up to 4 fight value next to a hero. You know, there's things there. It's I think they're quite interesting. They are. Shame that the models aren't supported, but then again, you just proxy it and it's all good.
yeah, you just straight we're going to have to proxy it because unless you're like a millionaire. Um, yeah, I mean, like I think they're good, but then I think there's a lot of other companies that will just absolutely tear through them. Um, yeah,
I'm sitting them at a 6.5 for me.
yeah, I mean it's yeah something like a 6. I mean,
Yeah.
look, just looking at what we've spoken about today. So if you had a Men of the West company against this company,
Oh,
no, the Men of the West are just going to absolutely destroy them.
early game and even going through progressively, they're going to
Yeah,
be destroying them. So you're going to be
yeah,
hard pressed to do any good with them at the start.
yeah. I think that they are definitely not a good starting company. I think that the only way to do well with Dunland, I think, is to really just go hard at it. Try try and end games as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So people doing piercing strikes, people doing double-handed strikes, people doing double-handed piercing strikes. All of the special strikes that you can do to try and you know maximize your chances of killing, knowing full well you're also maximizing your chance of dying at the same time. But I think that's got to be the way to go with it. Um,
Yeah.
so I think they would be incredibly fun. I just think that you're gonna lose as many games as you win because I think that it's one of those companies where you're putting a lot into the rolls of the dice, whereas other times, you know, the dice are much more likely to be on your side. So
Yeah.
that's what I reckon. So I'll give them a 6, but with a fun rating of 9.
With a fun rating of 9. No, I think they could
Yeah,
be interesting. I really like this Creebait. I'd love to see how that goes. So,
yeah, that's. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of the Bat Swarm, and I think the Bat Swarms are much better.
okay.
Um, well, Bat Swarms, if they and it's interesting that they don't have anything like that, but a Bat Swarm halves the fight value of whoever they're in a fight with.
Okay, that is pretty good because
What
it's I can
rounded down.
yeah,
So someone fight 5 becomes fight 2. Um,
that's
but
pretty
they're only
deadly.
yeah, but they're only fight 1 themselves, so they have to be supporting, but they've got a
Yeah.
12-inch range. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, I think that I do think that they have got a good maneuverability. Like they are pretty trashy early game. I think a maxed out company of 15 with 5 horsemen, 2 prebane, and hopefully the rest being Dunlending warriors or Huskars at that point.
Yeah.
Um, oh, that's an interesting point actually. Would
So,
you would I it be I might not actually put someone on the Dunlending warrior of two-handed axe. I might not have them as a hero because they advance to becoming Huskars, which are pretty. Actually, they all do. Well, that might change something. Maybe I would have the one with the bow. Yeah, that could be another option actually, because they don't have a lot of shooting.
yeah.
Why not make the one shooty guy? Why not make him a ranger and try and get some better shooting going on?
I mean, it's
Or
limited. I mean, it's harassment shooting, isn't it? What value? What's the strength of their shooting? Freeze, is it?
fours.
Not too bad then.
You know what? I'm gonna change. I was gonna check the rules. Um, they've not got heavy armor, have they?
Who's that?
No, it's
The Huskar has heavy
just
armor.
no. The Dunlending. So my Dunlending warrior with bow is gonna go on path of the skirmisher
Oh, okay.
because I feel like the yeah. I think something like that. I don't know. It's just because I want the two-handed axe person or one of the shield people to become a Huskar as early as possible. So it may be that I put a Wildman of Dunland as a crazy old man in a hut type sorcerer.
A wild man and a hut type sorcerer. I like it. Oh, it's a completely different route, isn't it? Wild man Dunland becomes a Dunland warrior. Yeah, that that could work as well. That's a different progression route. You know, you just gotta hope he survives, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, then like the frenzied fighter thing, the 5+ save is awesome. I think I've mentioned before, but the Dol Guldur uh, company thing is the same, but it's called Power of the Necromancer. It's a 5+ save for any wound. And my Warg leader, Mr. Biscuits, saved 5 wounds in one game with that rule.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Mr. Biscuits.
I love Mr. Biscuits. Such a fun little chap. Running around, rending people in half. I'm looking forward to talking about them in a few weeks' time, whenever that might be. So actually, that's anything else left to say on Dunland?
No, I think they're an interesting one. I think they're a 6.5, interesting company, a little bit different. One of those ones that I think, like, if you continue playing the same kind of game, I would just throw them in. You know, if you're like, I want to do something different, I'd give them a go. Like, you know, give them a good, like, 6-game campaign go. Like, you know, give it a good, you know, see what you get with them. But yeah, I think, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next time out, our good company of the week is going to be Arna, which might have quite a lot to say on, given the Games Workshop's most recent announcements. And the evil company will be, he said, pressing page down several times.
Sharky's Rogues.
Done them already, without you. Heartbreaker, I know. Moria! Oh, that's perfectly timed, isn't it? Because I've just started it'd be absolutely perfect, because hopefully Friday we're going to actually have a game of Battle Companies.
Yep.
And I will be using my new company, which is Moria, and I can... It's not just a case of saying, oh, what would you do? I'll say, I literally just have done this with them. Really excited about playing with them.
And I'm coming out with Iron Hill Dwarfs.
I don't like you.
For once, I may win.
Well, interestingly, more, not that we want to dive right into all of this right now, but the upgrades for Moria Goblins turns them into Black Shields.
That's
Black Shields are widely considered to be one of the worst profiles in the entire game in terms of costing and everything else. However, despite only being strength 3, they have the Hatred of Dwarfs special rule. So you may have a high defense, but I'm probably going to be wounding most of them on 5s if I'm using a Black Shield. So you never know.
I know, but I'm very much looking forward to my goats, if I get guys and goats.
I am getting a cave troll, and I'm picking up your goats, and I'm throwing them into other goats, and killing everyone.
I'm so looking forward. This one's going to be quite interesting, so it's going to be...
I am going to try and get as many cave trolls as I can. I mean, in theory, and it's a very, very much a theory, in theory, I could have 20 cave trolls. I'd have to get like 300 influence points to be able to buy all of them, and kind of everyone else would have to die. But I could have, 20 cave trolls coming at you.
Coming at you, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a story for another time. Anything else left to say on Dunland or Men of the West?
No, I think interesting ones. Well, definitely one extremely strong one, and Dunland is definitely out of the left field. Interesting one. I think it's, if you're playing a lot, it'll be worth giving it a go.
Yeah, I think they get some Victrix miniatures, proxy it to all hell, and just go and have some fun. I think they're a great company for just going and having a lot of fun. That's what I'm going to say about them. So, yeah. All right, so thank you very much, everyone, for listening to the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast. My name is Chris Piercy from Good Enough Scenery, And there's been if you're interested in my Moria company and how I've set it up, then you can check out the YouTube video I've just released on my channel as of yesterday. It shows the miniatures that I'm going to be using, the paths that I'm taking, and I've rolled my initial upgrades as well, which were moderately underwhelming. But you know, it's done now, so it's you know, recorded and everything. Can't do anything to change it. So yeah, anything else left to say, Stephen?
No, just yeah. Hopefully next time we're back, we'll be back to fortnightly with this. Hopefully, get back into the swing of things, which would be great. Looking forward to doing the new battle companies. I'd like to record our campaign a bit more, go into a bit more detail how we're doing it all, and yeah, it should be good coming up next couple of months with everything that's going on, and hopefully we'll get some big points battles. Also, if you haven't seen it already, or well, I don't, actually you won't have seen it, because Chris hasn't shown you, or he's shown you some teasers of his new his new Minas Tirith board, which is looking.
No, it's not Minas Tirith. Wash your mouth out. Ugh.
Minas Tirith.
Osgiliath.
Minas Tirith. That was Gilead board. It is looking very nice. A modular board with modular towns and buildings and stuff, and it is very interesting. And I look forward to being able to get a game on it. I just need my
very
children.
much got a Mordheim feel to it, if that means anything to anyone. Like proper. The hope is it's going to be real skirmishy in a town, and it's all kind of ruined, but it doesn't have to be ruined. And there's so many features which I'm excited to share with everyone. So look out for the reveal video on that. That'll be coming out later on in the week with a bit of luck.
And no, thank you, Broken Golem, for being with us all the way through as well.
Yeah. Cheers for that, buddy.
All right.
And we'll catch you for another episode soon.